the 10th chapter. Now you see, we did the 6th chapter. And all the chapters from 1 to 9th, it's quite clear. Arjuna and Krishna are talking to each other like friends. Although Arjuna knows that Krishna is not an ordinary person like him, but something else, but still, they have a very friendly talk. You see the end of chapter 6, Arjuna says, no, I cannot do this. You see, it's like friends. You can't tell that to a guru. Meditate, no, I cannot do it. Right? So, they are good friends. They are also related to each other. Childhood friends, same age. Everything is okay. What in the United States is called everything is hunky-dory. All fine. then, in the 10th chapter, Krishna suddenly changes his tune a bit. His way of expression becomes a little different because he knows now Arjuna should be ready to understand what is going on. So, in the 10th chapter, suddenly Krishna says, he's sitting still on the chariot. Among the mountains, I am the Meru. Now Arjuna is wondering, he's sitting in front of me, he's only as big as I am. How can he be Meru? No, Meru is the North Pole. Among the mountains, I am the North Pole. Among the immovables, the word used in Sanskrit for immovable is achala. Achala. Among the immovable peaks, I am the Himalayas. Now, Himachala, meaning the immovable mountain. Hima, the word Hima in Sanskrit means snow. So, Himalaya, house of the snow, land of the snow. The perfectly tranquil, snow-covered home of snow. Again, Arjuna is wondering. Just now he said he is the Meru, the North Pole. Then he says he is the Himalayas, and he is only here sitting in front of me. And then he says, among the Munis, among the Rishis, I am Kapila. So Arjuna is beginning to wonder what's going on now. He knows he is Krishna, but he says, I am Meru, I am Himalayas, I am Kapila, the great teacher. Among the Vedas, I am the Samaveda, and so on and so forth. So Arjuna is beginning to wonder, this guy sitting in front of me, is he really what I think he is? Or is he something else? Much beyond my grasp. Okay. This goes on. Then comes chapter 11. Chapter 11, suddenly there is some kind of an explosion and Arjuna doesn't see Krishna before him. He only sees great light and something from which all the gods and deities are coming out. There's only one big light and he's completely shattered. What is shattered? His so-called step-by-step logical brain is shattered. 1 plus 1 is 2 is gone. Suddenly he finds that 1 plus 1 could be 12. It's not normal mathematics here. What is this I see before me? It's impossible for the mind to think about it. It's beyond the ordinary mind. So this is the 11th chapter. So it's very clear why the yoga of devotion or Bhakti Yoga comes as the 12th chapter. If he had put it in the first chapter, Vyasa, Arjuna wouldn't have understood anything. It's only after the 10th and the 11th that Arjuna is ready to understand Bhakti. Oh, what is devotion? What is Bhakti? Before that, he would have said, before that, everything is a profit and loss account. Here it's all gone. Right? So this is why. Now, this does not mean that the Upanishads or the Gita, which is also called an Upanishad, is asking us to put our logical thinking and brain in cold storage. No, that's not true. In fact, it encourages the understanding and the intellect very much. And what it is trying to say is that the most intelligent person soon discovers the limitations of the brain intelligence. And for that, you need to be really intelligent to understand. A person with a person with clear intellect, clear understanding, subtle, begin to soon realize the limitations of his intelligence of the brain, which always gives you 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. That there are some other things which is beyond the understanding of the limited brain that we need to look for. So it doesn't say that you shouldn't be intelligent, you should accept everything. No, you should be critical, you should be intelligent, but when you're truly intelligent and penetrating, when your intellect becomes very fine, then you suddenly realize that there must be something more than this, the so-called logic that we have. Right? Otherwise, the most important mantra in the Rig Veda is the Gayatri. It occurs in the Rig Veda. And the Rishi, the founder of that mantra, was Vishwamitra. This is also interesting. Vishwamitra analyzed, the word would mean friend of the universe. Vishwa is the universe. Mitra is friend of the universe. Now, this mantra is so important that the whole meter is called the Gayatri meter, in which it is chanted. Now, what does the Gayatri mantra say at the end? Let's not go to analyze the Gayatri mantra fully, because that would be 2 satsangs. We're on chapter 12. Okay. So the last sentence of the of the Gayatri says, Dhiyo yona prachodayat, which means, may my intelligence be stimulated or be inspired. So if somebody is against the intellect, they will never ask you to chant the Gayatri, because we are trying to increase or stimulate the intellect. It means that a person whose intellect is really fine and stimulated very quickly understands the limitations of the intellect and says, we need to look beyond this, there's something more. It's not just like physical objects, it's something else. So that understanding comes only when one is intelligent. It's like, you go to a person who does hypnotherapy, he will clearly tell you that he cannot hypnotize idiots. Because when he says, now you are feeling tired, no, I'm not feeling tired. Now you close your eyes, no, I want to keep it open. The person has to be sensitive and clear intellect before he can understand these matters. This is what we are trying. So therefore, this is why the 12th chapter, which is called Bhakti Yoga, Yoga of Devotion, comes 12th, in the 12th chapter. You know why? Which is why it was not in the first. People ask, why can't Krishna say in the beginning that bhakti is important? Because Arjuna would have rejected it outright. He had to prepare him to get there. See? So this is the 12th chapter, but it begins in a very nice, interesting way. So we'll go there. Okay. This is also starting with Krishna, not Arjuna. Oh, sorry. This is one of the few chapters that start with Arjuna first. Normally, most of the chapters start with Sri Bhagavan Vacha, so said Krishna, so said Bhagavan. Here, one of the few chapters, it starts with Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said. So, what did Arjuna say? Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. Okay. Arjuna said, they are your steadfast devotees of yours. Krishna is talking to Krishna. There are steadfast devotees of yours who love and worship you as the divine being. But there are others who contemplate on the supreme truth, which in essence you are, as the imperishable, unmanifest, impersonal, absolute being. Which of these is a better yogi? Among these two categories which I mentioned, Krishna, tell me who has a greater understanding of yoga? Who could be called a better yogi? Is he the one who worships the supreme reality as that which even words cannot express? As the Upanishads say, yad vacha na bhyutitam, when words cannot express. And in another quotation in the Upanishad it says, Nayam Atma pravachanena labhya. This Atman cannot be attained through discourses. We are wasting our time. Are we? So some, like the great rishis, would like to understand, have said that the Supreme Being is all-pervading, indescribable, undefinable, and so on and so forth. And they worship, some people worship the Supreme Being as that. There are others who, like your form, who is so beautiful, we are attached to you, we are devoted to you. We consider you as a manifestation of that Supreme, but we like something that we can see and handle. So among these two, who would you think is the greater Bhakta or the greater Yogi? Or are they same? Are they different? This is the question. It's an important question because even in India also, there are a set of people who do not believe in image worship at all. There are Arya Samajas, they don't believe, they don't go to temples, they don't do any, but they believe there is a Supreme Brahman who can be realized by going deep into the heart or deep into your being. There are. And there are others who consider all the gods, choose one deity and worship and move that way. So this is why the question is being asked. Who do you think is the greater yogi? Now here is Krishna. In his true self, he does not answer the question. He does not answer the question directly. He goes in some way by which Arjuna realizes the answer. He doesn't say, okay, here are greater yogis or these are greater yogis. He says, let me tell you something. You find out for yourself. And what does he do? Now we come to Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Krishna said, those I consider as the most perfect in yoga, who with their minds fixed intently on me, in steadfast love, worship me with absolute faith. Two conditions, Their minds fixed intently on me, in steadfast love, not one day love and next day not there, and with absolute faith, which doesn't break whatever one does. I consider them to be perfect in yoga. But there are those who are devoted to the imperishable being, the absolute, the impersonal absolute, which is the firm support of this world and is undefinable, unmanifested, transcendent, motionless, eternal and all-pervading. Vashyamidam sarvam, pervading everything here. Even they reach me alone, striving, condition with their senses controlled, with their mind tranquil, and, this is important, set on the welfare of all. So, Krishna says to Arjuna, either way is okay. If you worship me with great devotion, with absolute faith, but with your senses under control and your mind under control. If that is missing, then you may worship me 100 times, but it's of no use. It's not the mode of worship that is important, but the attitude that is important. Could be with form, without form. In fact, all forms come out of the formless and go back into that. So, those I consider as most perfect in yoga, who, note the qualifications, with their minds fixed intently on me, in steadfast love, not broken by any other thoughts, worship me with absolute faith, I consider to be great yogis. Also, those who are devoted to the imperishable, the absolute, who is the firm support of the world, and is undefinable, unmanifested, transcendent and motionless, even they who worship this as the reality, as the supreme, as the divine, provided their senses are controlled and their mind tranquil, and whose mind is set on the welfare of all living beings, then they're okay, equal. The attitude that is important, not the way you look at the idea of God. Because whichever way you look, it's your idea of God. You cannot beat that. What God is, nobody knows. It's our idea. Image or no image, it's my mind. But my senses should be under control. And mind should be tranquil, and I should have the welfare of all living beings in my heart. If I don't have that, even if I sing 100 years the praises of the Lord, I will not get there. What are the in Sanskrit? They are very interesting. The qualifications required for Krishna to consider somebody to be a great devotee or yogi, here interchangeable. Some places, yaha bhakta same priya, that devotee is dear to me. What are the samniyam indriya gramam, one who has control over the senses. Sarvatra samabuddhaya, one whose mind is tranquil under all circumstances. And sarva bhuta hite rata, who has the welfare of all living beings in his heart. So if somebody says that I am a great bhakta of the Lord, but I hate these people, according to Krishna, he cannot be a bhakta. I am a great devotee of the Lord, but I hate those guys. Why? Because they are not worshipping the same God that I am. They may be worshipping God in another way. So the most important thing to note, according to Krishna, a greatest devotee is one who has these three qualities. The mode of how they worship is different. Could be different. Formless, form, or in between. Doesn't matter. One, control over our anger, emotion, senses. Samniyam indriya gramam. Two, what did I say? Second?
Tranquil mind.
Yeah. Sarvatra samabuddhaya. Tranquility under all circumstances. Not just when you are meditating. There are people who are very tranquil when they meditate. The moment they are out, tranquil under all circumstances. And what was the last? Welfare of all living beings in their hearts. Nobody is outside their ken of welfare. If these three qualities are there, says Krishna, in the chapter called the Yoga of Devotion, Bhakti Yoga, I consider such of them to be the closest devotees of mine. Proceed. This is not what I am saying, okay, the Gita. 2000 years old, or let's say 1000 years at conservative estimate, doesn't matter. Now, says Krishna, the obstacles faced by those devoted to the impersonal, absolute, formless being are far greater because the ideal is unclear, difficult for obtaining by an embodied being, body-centered human, to understand or follow. When we are all body-centered, look, it's very easy to say the formless is the best, this, that. I'm not saying bad or good, but we human beings live a life centered on name, form, shape, right? Yes or no? How do I know you? When I know your name, your image comes in front of me. In the Vedanta philosophy, this is called Nama Roopa, name and form. Nama, if you take A and put E, it is name. Nama Roopa. We live by Nama Roopa. How do we identify the world? How do I identify myself? By my form and by my name, right? And I love my name. Can you imagine if somebody calls you by a wrong name, what reaction it is? You may not say it. Your name is so important to you, to me, to everybody. And form. Aren't we taking care of our forms? Aren't we attached to our forms? The morning, as soon as I get up in the morning, I go to the wash basin to brush my teeth. What am I looking at the mirror? My own image. Are there more hair, gray here? Huh? Can I pluck this out? How many more wrinkles have appeared? So I'm in love with myself, with my form. Now, for a person who is in love with my own form, it's not so easy to fix your attention on the form. Supreme being. This is what Krishna is saying. He says it is all right, it is legitimate, great rishis have done that, but normally it's much more difficult to do that than to have an image that you can feel, you can see, you can name, you can play with. He doesn't, look, this is the thing about Krishna, he doesn't say this is better or that is better. He says these are the two options, you choose. Because we are so attached in this world to our own names and forms, and we live by name and form, to say that I will attach myself to something that is formless and infinite, which is the truth, of course, and the ultimate analysis it is, but it's not easy. There are obstacles at every step. On the other hand, it will be easier if you have something to look into. Now it need not necessarily be a form, it can also be a sound. All that Krishna is trying to say is that to have something tangible to hold on till you reach the intangible is easier than suddenly jumping into the intangible. This is what he's trying to say. He's not saying that the supreme reality is with form or without form, both are same. But that for a human being who is attached to name and form, it's easier to go that way. Or a symbol. Which is why all the great religions of the world recognized this very long ago, that it is, if you say there that is God sitting there, you say where? Which? The supreme all-pervading cannot sit or stand or move, it is always there. But if you say, oh, this is the representation of that supreme being, then the mind gets connected. This is why, since ancient days, the symbol of the cross has become so important, because there is something there. If it's nothing, it's difficult. Yeah, it is possible for some, but mostly. And it reminds you of something. There is a name and there is a form. Okay. Example, Om. It's not any human being, it's not a form, but it's still a form. It represents something. It represents the sound that we chant. It represents the Supreme Being as a manifestation. So therefore you meditate on, oh, if I say, I only believe in that Supreme Being which the eyes cannot see, which the ears cannot hear, which the tongue cannot taste, which words cannot express, which even the mind cannot grasp, how am I going to meditate? You need something to carry on, right? Unless you are so advanced that you sit 1 minute, everything drops off. Now this is not so easy. So Krishna says to Arjuna, therefore follow what is good for you. But I am telling you, it's easier. This is easier than that. So the obstacles facing those devoted to the impersonal absolute are greater. For the way of an unclear ideal is difficult for an embodied being who is body-centered and who lives on name and form to understand or follow. So what some people do is they get attached to the body and the form of the Guru. In some way it is nice, in some way it is dangerous. Because then you don't look at the teaching, you only look at the form of the person and get attached to the form. Very often the attachment is so much that even the teachings are forgotten. Well, it is one way, but it is dangerous and difficult because you don't know who this Guru is or what he is, right? You only see what is before you. Who knows what's hidden? Maybe he's a murderer. Could be, no? I have not done any murder, but... So, O son of Partha, O son of Pritha, Partha is Arjuna, soon I will lift from this ocean of birth and death, of this worldly existence, those whose minds are ever set on me, those who are... So, it doesn't matter how you think of the infinite, if your mind is ever set on attaining me, plus some qualifications again, who abandon the fruits of all their actions and the sense of agency and worship me, meditating on me as the sole refuge and only love. Those I will lift from the ocean of birth and death, coming and going. What are the qualifications? Who abandon the fruits of all their actions to me, who work in this world, live in this world, but say, all this is yours, not mine. It's not easy, but it's possible. When you get good results in your work, you say, thank you, you have given me good. When you get bad results, you say, you have taught me a good lesson. I surrender to you. If this is possible, then you can worship me as I am, if you like, and reach me. But this is important. So what happens to a mind which has dedicated all the fruits of its actions to the divine, good or bad? There is no weight in the mind. You become light, you're weightless, because you're no more the agency. You see? Otherwise you're, oh, what did I do? This has happened. Oh, what did I do? Ah, now I'm a king. But here everything is dedicated to the Lord. It's all yours. You give me what I need, that's all. The mind becomes light and clear and floats in the air. No matter if you think of the divine as a form or without form, it doesn't matter. Either way, qualities are important. These qualities. Otherwise, we are constantly, even yogis who meditate constantly. Oh, I meditated for 8 hours, still I did not have the vision. Dedicate the vision also. Give it when you want. I am going to do my job. Mind is free. And then it happens immediately. That's the fun. So therefore, most people would do good to go through some connection, some symbol, unless you have reached a state where you can still your mind and be free of everything, which is rare. It's not so easy. Yeah. Once in Bombay, I was having a discussion with somebody, and he said, I do not believe in any idols or images or anything. I am only, the supreme. No images and no idol. I said, good, that's also okay. It's up to you. Then he took me to lunch to his house. All the walls had huge enlarged photographs of one of the film heroes in India, Amitabh Bachchan. I said, you just now told me you don't believe in any forms, or you don't know. Here your whole house is filled with pictures of a hero, a movie hero. He said, oh, that's a matinee idol, not a normal idol. Which means what? People like to say that because they think it's more civilized. I'm out of all this. But we're all caught somewhere, some image. So why not worship that image as God? We are relieved immediately. The weight is gone. You're light. So, fix your mind on me alone. Now here Krishna is not speaking as the person, on the Supreme. Fix your mind on me alone. Let all your mind and reason go into me. Without doubt, you will then abide in me forevermore. Now again Arjuna probably say, I cannot do that. Right? You're saying, abide in me, fix your mind always on me. And Arjuna is likely to say, well, it's easy for you to say, but I cannot do it. Even after seeing that in the 11th chapter. So before Arjuna asks a question, Krishna himself supplies the answer. What does he say in the 9th shloka? If you are unable to fix your mind steadily on me in the beginning, then try to reach me through the practice of systematic practice of concentration, which is yoga. If you find it difficult to fix your attention on me because your mind is wandering, learn how to do it through the practice of yoga. Through the systematic practice means Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs, systematic, step by step. So here systematic practice of yoga, Abhyasa Yoga, means meditation, yoga of meditation, means a technique of practice because the mind is wandering, do that. So it's called Abhyasa Yoga, and the chapter we did yesterday is called Abhyasa Yoga. The practice of concentration, the practice of attention, how to go there. and so on. Kriya Yoga is also one of them. Because it's not so easy to sit and quietly concentrate. You need some way of doing it, at least in the beginning. Now he says, because Arjuna might say, I'm not capable of doing Kriya. So he says, if you're not capable of practicing systematic yoga, then devote yourself wholeheartedly to works of service to others in two ways. Engage yourself in external worship of me and in the worship of all individuals, which means serve those who are deserving wholeheartedly, without looking for profit or loss. Thus, working for me, one can still attain to perfection. See what happens? When I begin to help others, I'm no longer thinking only of myself. So I'm moving out of myself. I'm adding one more person to my list. So my mind is expanding. If I do for 10 people, I'm no more alone. All the 10 are me. I've expanded my mind already. So, through service, through helping those who are unfortunate, being helpful in nature with anyone, the mind expands and soon settles down. So, if one doesn't know how to practice the sadhana of Kriya or any other thing, says Krishna, there are two ways of doing it. If you consider me as Krishna, worship me, fix your attention on my form, give a flower, offer a flower, pour some water, do some worship, or do some bhajans, sing some songs. Plus, worship me as being present in the heart of all living beings. How do you worship somebody who is in? Doesn't mean I call you tomorrow and say, put some flowers on your feet and worship. No. It means I ask you, what is your problem? Can I solve it? This is service, right? So Krishna says these are two possibilities, which if you cannot practice the yoga of concentration, if you don't know or if it is difficult for you, then this is a good way to come to me. Worship me simply. You don't have to gather gold and diamonds to worship. The attitude is more important. And serve others who are in trouble. To these two paths you come to me. Now this is Bhakti Yoga. These are the definitions of bhakti given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, not by M. M is merely reading it out to you. Then, if you think that even this is difficult to perform, he's giving Arjuna a long rope. He might suddenly say, no, yeah. After all, he's a king, a soldier. Okay. If even this is too difficult for you to perform, all options are open. Please understand, in this we are all Arjunas in some way. Not only that Arjuna. If even this is too difficult for you to understand, to perform, then take refuge in me, surrender to me, control the mind, give up the fruits of your action and think, I am the agent and I am the enjoyer. If you can't do all this, then you surrender to me and say, Krishna, look, I don't know all this, I have surrendered to you. You do what you want with me. I will control my senses. That much I will do. You take care of me. Now, how? All the attention you give to the objects of the senses now diverted to the divinity. That's called surrender. I have totally surrendered. It's not surrendering to a human being. Human beings cannot, when we say I have surrendered to you, it's only 3%. The rest never surrender. One day I was sitting in Jaipur, in Jaisalmer, in Rajasthan in the desert, and I don't know what inspired me. Suddenly I said to Maheshwarnath Babaji, Babaji, I surrender myself completely to you. After saying that, I thought I was foolish, but I said it. So he looked around, and there was an abandoned well close by. He said, get up, go and jump into that well. I said, what for? He said, you just now said you surrender. Then he said, sit down, don't talk foolish things, okay? He said, so I knew what surrender is. I mean, people say that very easily, but it's not possible. When I say I surrender, it means some 2-3 things I surrender. The rest I don't. Keep it to one. I'm not saying you should. Think carefully what one says, okay? So, now a description. More than a mere formal practice of disciplines, a clear understanding of why you are doing this is better. You say, I'm practicing a set of disciplines. Good. But Krishna says to Arjuna, it's even better if you know why you're doing it. Have an intellectual understanding of what you're doing it. It is better than simply sitting and practicing something. Right? Better than even understanding intellectually, meditation is better. Even better than understanding intellectually why you're doing something, meditation is much better. Even better than meditation is the abandonment of the fruits of action. For such abandonment is immediately followed by peace. Okay, let's take meditation. I'm saying, I have learned to meditate, hello Kriya. I'm going to practice. I have learned, I am going to practice, I will succeed. Just see how many I's are there in this. I shall surely go there. Yeah? I shall surely force into God. How many I's are there? Krishna is saying that even when you meditate, say, I am meditating because you have allowed me to meditate. I will move forward because you allow me to move forward. I shall reach there because you said I will reach there. I have surrendered all my actions to you and I am doing my actions of meditating. That takes the load off the mind. Otherwise, I have meditated for 6 hours and nothing is happening. You forget time. 6 hours, 1 hour, 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. If you surrender and say, I am doing this all because you have made me do this, I surrender everything to you, even the results of my meditation. I'm not responsible for anything. That I is gone. Then there is only pure meditation. See? The moment you begin to think this way, half the load is removed from the mind. It's so light. Now, again, we go back to the same list in a different way as in the previous chapter. What kind of a person the yogi is who is practicing devotion. Here, in this case, bhakti. In the other case, meditation, yoga of meditation. Here it is, yoga of devotion. So there are some qualities which a devotee has. Krishna already said, if the devotee has these qualities, I accept him as the greatest of my bhaktas. Now this is elaborated upon. Now, before we go there, I want to tell you a story from the Puranas, from the Bhagavatam. Right? Now, there is this Kurukshetra war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, who are cousins. And Krishna is on the side of the Pandavas. And that's also a very interesting story. The, the Kauravas and the Pandavas are brothers belonging to two families who are cousins. Their father died. So the other brother is looking after the kingdom, whose name is Dhritarashtra, who is looking after the king. Now, Dhritarashtra's children are on the other side, the Kauravas. And these orphans, not orphans, whose father had died, Pandu's children, are the Pandavas. Their father's name was Pandu. They were brothers, but he died and he took over. And the king has a wife who is very interesting. The Purana says that the wife of King Dhritarashtra came from Afghanistan, Gandhar. Now, Gandhar is the Sanskrit word for Kandahar, which is one end of Afghanistan. And so she was called Gandhari, one who came from Kandahar. Because this king Dhritarashtra, who is the uncle of the five Pandavas and the father of the Kauravas, is blind from birth. So when he marries this lady from Gandhari, she says, since my husband cannot see the world, I will not also see. And all her life she has a blindfold. Anyway, there is some part of the story. So the Pandavas and the Kauravas, the Pandavas finally ask their uncle to give them the legitimate share of the properties. This is how it starts. And the king refuses. He says, I have given you whatever you should have, I am not going to give you anything more. First he sends them off to the forest and then they come back and ask. He says, no, I cannot give you. And the Kauravas are always fighting. Duryodhana, the eldest brother, is always wanting to kill the Pandavas. This is the situation. War has been proclaimed. The missiles haven't started falling, but the war has been proclaimed. And now there is Krishna. He is neither a Pandava nor a Kaurava, but everybody knows him. And they are wondering whose side would he be. So they come. The eldest brother of the Kauravas, called Duryodhana, he comes to see Krishna, and Arjuna, one of the Pandava brothers, also comes to see Krishna before the war. Now Krishna is resting on a cot. And deliberately, perhaps, there is only one chair in the room, which is at the back. So first comes Arjuna. He sees Krishna's sleeping. He doesn't want to disturb him, wake him up. He sees only one chair there. He's so unpretentious and humble. He says, no, the chair may not be for me, it may be for him. So he stands near the feet, waiting for him to wake up, although they are good friends and so on. Then comes the other, Kauravas, head of the Kauravas, the Duryodhana. Now this is interesting. In Sanskrit, the word Duryodhana means wealth of evil. Duryodhana. Anyway, Duryodhana comes. And then he goes, his ego? He said, there's one chair, it must be for me. So he goes there happily and sits there. Now Krishna wakes up Now when you wake up, when you're lying this way, who do you see first? Near the feet, right? So he sees Arjuna. So he says, hey, what happened? What happened? What's happening? And Arjuna is doing this. Oh, he says, oh, Duryodhana, all right, sit down, sit down. He stood up, no, sit down. So what do you want? First he asked Duryodhana, what do you want? He says, I want all your army, I want all your horses, I want all your weapons, I want all your armor. Krishna says, yes, take it, it's yours. He's satisfied, smiling. Then he asks Arjuna, what do you want? I don't want anything, I want you. Will you be with me in the battle? Arjuna says, Krishna says, of course. He didn't even ask me. You asked me, I'm with you. So then the battle starts, the Kurukshetra, and you know the result. Finally, the Kauravas are defeated. And the Pandavas win the battle. But Krishna is on their side, of course. And he acts as his charioteer. He says to Arjuna, since I don't belong to any of these families, I cannot indulge in the war, so I will be your charioteer, your chauffeur. You sit. We'll get into battle. Now, why didn't I say that? Yeah. So the battle is over after a while. The Kurukshetra battle is over. So that's why the Gita is so important, because all the teaching has been done while in battle, not in a cave, not in a quiet place. The battle is about to start. In the midst of the battle starts the Gita, which is so relevant for us because we are all in some kind of a battle all the time. We are not meditating in caves. Yeah, there are some lucky people who live near the lake, but generally. So we are in the midst of the battle, and so therefore it's a great message for us. Now, anyway, so the battle is over, and now Krishna says, now battle is over, you have won the game. Now I need to go. I just came here to help you guys. I'm going. I have to go. So where are you going? I'm going back to Dwarka. There's an island called Dwarka, where he has his own place and where he has his relatives and others. So I'm going back to them. His wife is also there. So Krishna is also married, mind you. He is going there. How he balanced them, I don't know. One is more than enough. Anyway, so he goes there, and so he's going to go. So he has to say goodbye to everybody, right? Going. So to those who are I'm giving you the background so you get an understanding of what Bhakti Yoga is. So to people who are his own age, he hugs them. And people who are older than him, touches. Now here is a God, supposed to be, who is touching the feet of people who are older than him. What does it mean? It means he doesn't have an ego. Everybody says, oh Krishna, you're divine. He says, all right, so she is elder than me. So he hugs those who are equal, and those who are older, he goes to touch their feet and say, I'm going, bye-bye. Now he goes to a lady whose name is Kunti. She is famous in the Bhakti circuit as Kunti's Bhakti. So he goes to Bhakti. Who is Kunti? She is the mother of Arjuna and the other four brothers. Of the 5 Pandava brothers, she is the mother. So she is the matriarch. So he goes to Kunti. He touches her feet and he says, okay, my job is done. I'm going back to Dwarka. Now there is a beautiful speech by Kunti, which is very interesting. It's not there in the Gita, it's there in the Mahabharata and in Bhagavad. Kunti says, look, don't try this game with me, okay? I know who you are. You neither go there nor are you. You're everywhere. You say, I'm going to Dwaraka. Well, you're here, you're in Dwaraka, you're everywhere. So don't try this trick with me. You can talk to the kids, but not with me. I know you quite well. You joined us in the battle. You joined with the Pandavas. Therefore we won. This also I know. And now you say, I'm going away. You're not going anywhere. You're here. You're also there. Then Arjuna, Krishna wants to divert her a little. So he says, oh, if you want any boon, any blessing, ask me now because I'm going off. Yeah, yes. He says, I have something to ask of you. Will you grant it? He said, I will grant you. You ask and I shall grant it. Okay? But she has already told him, don't do all this movie stuff for me, I know you. But then she asked him, he asked her, what is it that you want? She says, bless me. That all the misfortunes of the world come on my head. Even Krishna is taken aback. What kind of a blessing is this? That she's asking for all the she's asking to be crucified by all the miseries of the world. Get all the miseries of the world on my head. This is my prayer. Huh? The Krishna says, but why? She says, because. It's only in misfortune that human beings call for God, right? So if all the misfortunes come, every time a misfortune comes, I will say, oh, Krishna, and I'm sure you'll appear before me. This I'm sure. That I have no doubt. So then the next misfortune, I'll say, oh, you will again appear before me. So you're constantly before me. You can't escape to Dwaraka, you see. You're constantly before me. That's all I want. I don't want anything else. Bring misfortunes. Who cares? But I want you all the time. I have no other desire. And Krishna blesses her. Tathastu, so be it. This is called Kunti's Bhakti. You know, normally what Bhakti is when I haven't got a promotion, please promote me. I light a few agarbattis. God, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. Who wants God? That in the Narada Bhakti Sutras, which is a text on Bhakti, he says Kunti's Bhakti is the greatest Bhakti, where she doesn't care for misfortune, she wants only the Lord. I'm not saying we should ask, we are not Kuntis, okay? We are not so matured and strong to do that. We shouldn't suddenly say, Kunti asked, so let me ask, and when misfortune comes, we run around inside, we don't know what to do. So anyway, so this is Bhakti Yoga, so I wanted to tell you about Kunti's Bhakti. So please ask for good things, don't ask for misfortunes, because it's not a joke. If you seriously ask God, you can't take God for a fool, right? And if He says, okay, granted, what do? It's just to show what devotion actually is, how deep it is, that the devotee doesn't care for anything else except that. So, here are the qualities again which the Bhakta or the devotee or the yogi according to Krishna has to have. We already discussed this, repeating it because it is so important. What is that? Self-control and firm in conviction, dedicated to God, to me with all his heart and all his soul, dear to me always, no matter what happens. Such is a devoted person. Plus, he who causes fear to nobody, nobody is afraid of him. is a true yogi or a true devotee, he is so full of love and affection that there is no need for anybody to fear him or her. If there is any fear about such a person, that means it's not okay. Why should there be fear? Here is a person who will not cause harm to anybody, so there is no fear. Who causes fear to none. Plus, also, nobody can frighten him. If you are fully absorbed in the divine, you don't care for anything else. Who can frighten you? Somebody can say, I'll take away your bag. Okay, take it. Yeah, you can snatch it back if you want. But there is no fear. He doesn't fear anybody. Nor does he induce fear in others. If a person is resting in the bosom of the Lord, there is only affection and love. There is nothing to fear from that person. He doesn't want anything from you. Right? And also, the yogi who is established in the self has no fear of anybody. What can anybody do? Your body you can injure. What about the soul? Nobody can touch it. There is no fear. Who is also free from the agitation of the moods caused by euphoria, anger, and even excitement. Such a person is dear to me always, Arjuna. Usually we live on a pendulum. Sometimes it swings up, sometimes it swings down, sometimes we are depressed, sometimes we are excited. Here is a yogi whose pendulum has come to a standstill. It swings here, not there. Even if it swings, he doesn't care. His mind is stable and at rest at the feet of the Lord. Such a person, Yah Bhakta Same Priya, such a devotee is dear to me. Desireless, pure. There's one word here which is important. Because you're desireless and pure and nice and kind, doesn't mean you should be idiotic. So he says resourceful. Who's also resourceful. Udasina, one who is resourceful. Unattached, unworried. Without any sense of self-centered activity. A devotee thus endowed is dear to me. If you want to know further about what devotion means in this, and you need to go and read the Narada Bhakti Sutras or some such text, which have been described, which talk about the time when Krishna was existing as a body, as a form, and how people related to him. There's lots to learn from that. Okay. He who is free from elation, anger, sorrow, and craving, who neither seeks the pleasant nor shuns the unpleasant. Dear to me is a person who is thus devoted to me. For him, the only thing is the devotion, nothing else. Free from elation, free from anger, free from sorrow and craving. The greatest craving is have communion with the divine. Such a person who is devoted to me, I call him a great Bhakta. Again, the same thing which we read yesterday is repeated. Alike to friend and foe, alike in honor and insult, alike in heat and cold, alike in praise and blame, unattached, contented, homeless. Now, homeless is not a good word nowadays. And steady in mind. Such a person is a dear Bhakta to me. Aniketa is the word used, homeless. Now, in the US, if you say homeless, it means in the West, a person who is on the street. Now, that is why I said yesterday, I consider Jesus to be a great yogi who follows all the definitions here. You know the famous statement, the snakes have holes and the foxes have dens, but the Son of Man knows not where to lay his head. Aniketa, homeless. In this society we live in, this is impossible. But we should understand that there is a concept like this. That's all. If you understand, that's fine. And move forward. And tomorrow I shouldn't say, okay, now I have studied the Gita, I'll sell my home and walk on the street. No, that's being not resourceful and not intelligent. It is the attitude that is important, that even if all this disappears, I will still be moving towards the truth. This is the important note. Now, knowing fully well that it's not possible for all people to follow this 100%, all that has been said, Krishna ends this chapter by saying, whosoever, anyone, who even seeks to follow this path, even tries to follow this path with a mind full of faith and acceptance of me as the supreme goal, such people are exceedingly dear to me. I call them devotees, bhaktas. Now the last one is a saying, trying to say, we know that it is not easy to follow everything what has been laid down, but even those who seek to follow, at least understand and say, maybe sometime I can follow this, who want to move forward with a mind full of faith and acceptance of the supreme goal, such people are exceedingly dear to me. There ends the 12th chapter. You see, that was quick. The 12th chapter ends, but our sadhana is not ended. We need to try our best. And please, this is my advice, do not pray like Kunti. We should know our limitations, where we stand, okay? Slowly, when it becomes evident to us, as we meditate and move on the spiritual path, that happiness and sorrow are so dependent on each other. They're two opposites of the same coin. What we are seeking is beyond both. Then this will become clear to us. Till then, seek happiness, but understand that the greatest happiness is understanding the Supreme Being, that connection with the Supreme Being, that devotion that wells up in the heart, which has no logic. It doesn't have logic. There is no profit-loss business going on here. You see? Now, a few stories from the Puranas illustrating Krishna's life and so on. I don't know where to start. Hmm. It's said that uh, Krishna, with his good friend Uddhava, there's another Gita, like Bhagavad Gita, called Uddhav Gita. First read the Gita, then go to Uddhav Gita. Went to Uddhava's house when Uddhava was not there. Only his wife was there. Uddhava's wife got super excited to see Krishna come. He got so super excited. She didn't know what she was doing. So she said, sit down, sit down. And then she got a whole plate of bananas. And then she was so caught up in looking at him that she said, eat some bananas. And she peeled the bananas. She didn't know what she was doing. She kept the bananas and gave him the peel. And he ate it. And he ate it very nicely. She gave 3 bananas, but the peels. She was stunned. She didn't know. He ate all the 3 and said, nice. And then Uddhava came back and he saw Krishna sitting and he said, what are you doing? He saw her taking the 4th banana's peel and he said, hey, put it down, put it down. Then he came and he sat down and he gave a banana to Krishna and he ate it and he said, how is it? He said, it is very nice. The bananas are really good. But the peels were sweeter than the bananas. You know what? He said, those peels were sweeter, Uddhava, than the banana. Banana is sweet, all right. Okay, another story which is quite difficult to understand. I mean, not so difficult. It said that Krishna and Uddhava went for a walk. Uddhava was his constant companion. Went for a walk. And as they were going, they came to a rich man's house. It was a huge palace. And Krishna said to Uddhava, hey, I'm feeling very thirsty. Can you go to this house and ask for something to drink? I'm very thirsty. Now Uddhava, whenever Krishna made any such statement, Uddhava always used to think, God, what is going to happen now? Because he knows him so well. What he says may be something else. So he said, anyway, I will go and ask him. So he went and told her, you see there outside the gate, there is Krishna standing there. And look, yes, he's very thirsty. Can you give him some? He said, of course. So he called them inside, made them sit, washed their feet, put scented water on them, and so on. And then brought him a big glass full of sharbat, whatever it was. It's a juice with all kinds of sweet things and saffron. Krishna drank it and he said, oh, this is the most tasty juice I've ever had in my life. So Uddhava looked suspiciously. And he said, okay, till now everything is fine. Then they came out. Soon as he came out, Krishna turned and the man went inside. He put both his hands up and said, may this man become richer and richer. May his wealth increase. Again, Uddhava heaved a sigh of relief. Oh, nothing extraordinary, okay. Then they went again. They hardly gone a few steps. And Krishna said, hey, I'm feeling thirsty. So now Uddhava knew something is up. He just now drank a whole glass. He's again feeling thirsty. It cannot be. There's something up. Anyway, now what to do? And he looked. And there he saw a small hermitage. You know what's a hermitage? A small cottage built by yogis. A small hermitage where a yogi was living alone with his cow. There's only one cow there. And there's nothing else there. So Krishna told Uddhava, go and ask this man to give me something to drink. I'm very thirsty. Uddhava said, Krishna, he's a poor yogi sitting there. I don't know. You go and ask him. He said, okay. So he went. He told the yogi, see my friend standing outside? The man looked a glorious figure standing outside. He said, yeah, what does he want? Well, he's thirsty. Can you give him some water? Yogi said, so unfortunate. Even the last drop of water I had, I used it to clean the udders of my cow. There is no water. But I can do one thing. I can give him some milk from my cow, my darling cow. So Uddhav said, he says he can give you, okay, I'm coming, he said. Went in. So he gave the milk. Krishna drank it. He said, so tasty. So tasty. And the yogi was also very happy. Then they came out. Now Uddhava was wondering, now what? Came out. Now you would think this is a very cruel act, but it is a different idea. He came out, put his hands up and said, may his cow die. Uddhava said, what is this? I cannot understand your logic. Okay, you said, let his wealth increase to that man. I can understand that. Now you said, this is the best milk you'll drink. Instead of thanking the man who only has the milk, nothing else, you say, may the cow die. What is this? So Krishna said, come. He took him under a tree where there was a seat and he said, Uddhava, sit down. Don't get angry. Sit. Let me explain this to you. He said, you know, that man is still not on the spiritual path. He is still attached to his money, his wealth. It will take some time. So let him enjoy. So I said, let him become more healthy. I blessed him. This guy is almost there. He's almost stepping into the goal of the spiritual path. He's almost there. His only attachment is the cow. Nothing else. So I took it away. So Uddhav said, so what happens to him? He said, are you so foolish, Uddhava? He comes to me. So sometimes actions, are different or they look. The effect may be something different. The divine acts in many ways. Sometimes gives, sometimes takes away. But we should be able to understand and be quiet and calm and tranquil and move forward. Also, as it says, we should be resourceful. Doesn't mean that you should do anything. Yes. That's it. Here ends the 12th chapter of the Gita. Again, warning, don't behave like Kunti. Some people do that, They read that Sri Ramakrishna Paramahmasa, the guru of Swami Vivekananda, went before the whole mother, which means mother goddess, Kali, and said, take away everything from me. I just want you. Some people think that they imitate him, saying, oh, we will also become like Ramakrishna Paramahmasa. They go before the deity and they say, please take everything away from me. When she starts pulling the rug, say, please bring everything back to me. So don't do any premature thing. We should know where we stand. Right? In the south of India, there was a small temple of the goddess. Now the goddess, some goddesses have many hands. Some gods also have some Hindu system. Some goddesses have many hands like this. And this had many. And a lady used to come. She's around 90 years old lady. Used to come in front and pray to the goddess loudly so that her daughter-in-laws, her children who all came can hear what she's saying. Used to say, Hey Goddess, why are you keeping me here? I'm so old. Huh? Take me away. Actually, the entire keys of all the house and the treasury were all with her. Here. But please take me. She wanted everybody to know that she was a great devotee and she didn't care and so on and so forth. She was pretending. So she used to, oh, please take me away. This went on for many days. And the priest of the temple got disgusted. He knew that this woman is just talking. There is no truth in what she is really saying. She doesn't want to die. One day he went and stood behind the goddess with two hands. And there are many, so you can't make out extra two, right? Probably they were the same color. Stood like this. And then she came with all her family. She had just scolded her daughter-in-law. She was also there. Then she said, oh, mother, please take me away. Why are you keeping me on this earth? Two hands of the goddess said, come. She ran for her life. She got out of the temple and started running. So everybody said, what happened, madam? He said, oh, who will look after my grandson? Who will look after the money? So, false. Sometimes people say false things to impress others. We should be true to one's heart. Otherwise, if the goddess says, come, you start running. So, a spiritual life is to be honest to yourself first. Do not imagine that one is greater than what one is. It should be exactly, we should know at least where we are. And this is called self-knowledge, knowing about the self. Where am I? Where do I stand? Self-knowledge doesn't mean I am the Supreme Brahman, no. Self-knowledge means where do I stand now at the moment? The self which is me, how is it behaving? How selfish it is, how non-selfish, how good or bad. To assess this is called self-knowledge first. Later on, yes, when the mind is purified, you are the inner self, okay. Till then we should know what this self is, which we have built in this world. Because if you don't know it, you will not be able to sort it out. How do you sort out something you don't know? You should be intimate with it to sort it out. Okay. So, welcome.